So I just want to thank you all for coming today. Now, today's session, My Wellbeing and Me, is presented by Amy Doherty, and Amy will explore the area of wellbeing, self-care and stress reduction, including some self-care tips and relaxation techniques. So I will, as I mentioned, be sending on this recording to everybody and then a link for each share. So just want to again thank you all for coming. So just to let you know as well that the next sessions in the series, the next week's session will be coloplast and stomach care, and the week after will be Hollister and bladder care. They will be the last two. I'll just double check, but I think they're the last two in the series around bladder and bowel care. Okay, so I am just going to picture this and make Amy the presenter. So I just want to thank you all again for coming today, and I'm handing the reins over to Amy Doherty, who can speak much more eloquently on My Wellbeing and Me. Amy, do you have access there?
Hi, Katie. Yeah, it says now that I'm the presenter.
Brilliant. Lovely. So this session is being recorded. The recording, etc., will be sent to everybody. So there's no need for you all to take notes. I'm just going to open the question and answer section just to leave it open. If have any questions throughout, I'll pass them on to Amy.
Perfect. Katie, you can see my screen? We can
indeed. Well, I can, so I'm hoping everybody else can too. YouTube and I can, everybody else can too. Okay, so I'm going to hand it over, and I just want to thank you very much for presenting today. I know it's not an easy thing to do, so I've been there a few times myself, so I know it'll go really well for you. So thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Katie. Hi, everyone, and as Katie said, my name is Amy, and welcome to my presentation on My Wellbeing and Me. This presentation is going to cover RAP and what RAP is. It's going to cover and also explore self-care, well-being, some relaxation and stress reduction techniques. I suppose it's very difficult to do this as I can't see anybody, so bear with me for a few minutes until I settle. So I suppose for a short while back in 2018, I worked as a family support worker with SPHI. I now facilitate, along with my colleague, the RAP programme for SPHI. And a shout out to anybody who remembers me from working with SPHI. So thanks, as Katie had said, thanks to me, thanks to Katie for the invite to come along and talk to everybody today. And thanks to SPHI. And I suppose I hope that you might get some tips out of this talk and sign up for the next RAP programme. To start our talk off, I would like to set the scene and give you some food for thought. I would encourage you to think about this piece that I'm going to read throughout the rest of this webinar. If you can, close your eyes when I ask and listen to the words that were written by Stephen Covey. It's called Rocks and Sand. Now close your eyes and just listen. Let the thoughts come to your mind as you listen to the words. Notice who comes to your mind. What are the important things, and are you one of them? Rocks and sand. A philosophy professor stood before his class and had some items in front of him. When class began, wordless, he picked up a large empty glass jar and proceeded to fill it with rocks right up to the top. He then asked the students if the jar was full. They agreed that it was. So the professor then picked up a box of pebbles and poured them into the jar. He shook the jar lightly. The pebbles, of course, rolled into the open areas between the rocks. The students laughed. He asked his students again if the jar was full. They agreed that yes, it was. The professor then picked up a box of sand and poured it into the jar. Of course, the sand filled up everything else. Now, said the professor, I want you to recognize that this is your life. The rocks are the important things. You, your family, your partner, your health, your children, anything that is so important to you that if it were lost, you'll be nearly destroyed. The pebbles are the other things in life that matter, but on a smaller scale. The pebbles represent things like your job, your house, your car, and the sand is everything else, the small stuff. If you put the sand or the pebbles into the jar first, there is no room for the rocks. The same goes for your life. If you spend all your energy and time on the small stuff, material things, you will never have room for the things that are truly most important. Pay attention to the things that are critical in your life. Maybe it's playing with your children, taking your partner out dancing. There will always be time to go to work, clean the house, give a dinner party. Take care of the rocks first, the things that really matter. Set your priorities. The rest is just pebbles and sand. So let the words and the thoughts sink in your mind for a moment. And if you did close your eyes, I invite you to open your eyes again and bring yourself back into the room. Now that we have set the scene for this webinar, we will explore well-being and self-care. So what do you think when you hear the word well-being? And does it match any of these descriptions? Well-being is described in the dictionary as the state of being comfortable, healthy, or happy. While Mental Health Ireland say well-being is feeling good about yourself, the world around you, and functioning well in everyday life, most of the time. Being resilient and coping with the normal stresses of life is also an important attribute of well-being. So taking those descriptions into consideration, the World Health Organization says that good mental health allows us to recognize and use the abilities that we have to deal with the stresses of everyday life. Here, self-awareness is key. Becoming aware of your strengths and what you can do to deal with the stresses that life presents. 10% of our life depends on what happens to us. 90% of our life depends on how we react to it. So this is the principle by Stephen Covey, who also wrote the piece I just read to you. We can choose to let the stresses of our lives control us, or we can choose to become more aware and take control back. By taking back control, we can make ourselves and our self-care a priority, because self-care is important as it improves our overall well-being, it improves our self-esteem, and helps us to feel better about ourselves. When we make self-care a priority and complete self-care tasks daily, we begin to relax more, sleep better, and cope better when faced with challenges. Self-care is defined as any activity that we do deliberately in order to take care of our mental, emotional, and physical health. It is not something that we force ourselves to do or something we don't enjoy doing. If you can see here on the screen, you'll see that there's certain words highlighted or a little bit darker. So it's any activity that we do deliberately. It's not something we force or that we don't enjoy. Self-care is something that refuels us rather than takes from us. You can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself first. I would encourage you to think about what refuels you. Is it taking time out alone? Talking to friends? Reading a book or watching a TV program? And now, think about the last time you took some time out for yourself. The last time you put yourself first. You made yourself a priority. If you can't remember, please make a plan today. Make a plan to do something that you really enjoy. If it is getting out at lunchtime for some fresh air, going out in the evening, meeting up with somebody. I know it's difficult in these times, but possibly a phone call instead, or meeting online and having a Zoom call. When talking about self-care, I always refer back to the oxygen mask, and I'm sure many of you have heard it before. This is the direction we are given on a plane, but the same principle applies to self-care. We need to look after ourselves first before we can look after anyone else. If we look after ourselves first, we are better able to take care of the people around us when we are needed. So, after looking at what self-care is and why it's so important that we make it a priority, let's look at how we can look after ourselves. Everybody is unique. Everybody is different in their own ways. So how we look after ourselves is a unique plan that we make. Here are just some common ways of looking after yourself. So we'll start by putting yourself first, making yourself that priority, something that we've talked about the last number of slides. Eating regularly, healthy, nutritious food, drinking enough fluids every day, getting active, getting outside, taking in fresh air. There's all different ways of being active. It doesn't have to be physical, strenuous exercise. It can be anything. There is different online yoga groups and Pilates groups and chair yoga, and it's all just about moving our bodies in the best way that we can. Connecting with others and forming supportive relationships. Support is a key part to keeping ourselves well. Look at hobbies you like, something you love to do. If it's something you haven't done in a while, maybe take some time out and revisit that hobby that you just loved to do. Manage your stress and becoming aware of your triggers. Asking for help. And being brave enough to ask for help. Sometimes it's a very difficult thing to do. Getting enough sleep and keeping a good routine. A good routine means going to bed at the same time, going to bed to sleep, and knowing that there's no distractions in your room. Now we will explore some tools that might be useful for you to manage stress or stressful situations in your life. Remember, everyone is different and copes differently. What might suit you may not suit another. Maybe you are not affected by some things, but you are really affected by another. So finding our coping strategies and techniques is key. We all need to explore what suits us, and the best way to find that out is to practice and use it. If you find something that you find interesting, give it a try. So some useful tips for managing our stress. Research suggests that when we consistently relax and use stress reduction exercises, they're useful tools in achieving wellness. They help you feel better about yourself. They relieve feelings like anxiety, agitation, stress. Learn and practice these techniques when you're feeling well, so that they're easy for you when you're feeling stressed, anxious, or frustrated. The hard thing to do is to start a new practice or new relaxation technique when you're already frustrated and stressed, because it mightn't sit very well with you and you might be even more frustrated. So the best thing to do is to explore now and look at ways that you would like to relax and reduce the stress. The first we will look at is journaling. Journaling can help us to organize our thoughts, set goals, relieve stress and frustration, and allows us to self-reflect. The act of writing down your thoughts, feelings is a powerful way to work through those feelings. It helps us problem solve, let go of past hurt, remind yourself of good things in your life, release difficult emotions, get anger out, record happy moments, and express gratitude. Remember, journaling is only for you. You can write it, draw, use cutout pictures from a newspaper. It doesn't have to be neat and tidy. Everything doesn't have to be spelled correctly. It's all about releasing your thoughts and feelings. Other forms of release can be to-do lists, free association writing, using the notes on your phone, or voice recording or voice notes. To-do lists are very important to me. They help me to organize my thoughts and organize the tasks that I need to do weekly and daily. Free association writing is writing down anything that comes to your mind. It doesn't have to make sense. It can be one sentence about one thing, another sentence about another. It can be all mixed up. It doesn't have to make sense to you. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone. It's just the practice of writing. So here is the second one, and it's breathing techniques. The breath can be our best friend. It can help ground and support us when we are feeling stressed, anxious, panicked, or troubled. The benefits of practicing breathing exercises is that you can use it anytime and anywhere you need to. You don't need any equipment or special lighting or a special room. You can close your eyes and relax. This helps us to become more aware of ourselves. It helps us to know when we need time out and how we are feeling at that time when we need that time out. It can also help us to identify the triggers and the stressors. For some people like me, a visual aid is very useful. Like the first picture, you'll see it there in the corner. It's when I take a deep breath. I take time to smell the flower in one hand and blow out the candle in another. So it's this visual, deep breathing that you're taking a big breath in as you smell the flower, and you're releasing your breath as you blow out the candle. Now, I would like you to stop and focus on your breathing for a moment. Feel your breath. Just let it be. Don't try to change it in any way. Just notice your breath in and out. Breathing in and out. The next breathing technique is called square breathing, and you'll see it in the picture underneath the candle and the flower. And this breathing exercise is that you breathe in for 4, you hold your breath for 4, you breathe out for 4, you hold your breath for 4, and you continue doing that. Many people like to place their hand on their chest and their stomach, where they can feel their breath in and out. Also, there is manage your breath with your hand. You'll see the last picture. And it is as you're breathing in, you're tracing up your thumb. As you get to the top and you're breathing out, you're tracing down the other side. And you continue that along your hand. Some people find this very useful for that visual grounding piece. You're not only breathing, but you're physically seeing and feeling your breath in and your breath out. Here's just another example, and it's called mindful coloring. Mindful coloring asks us to focus on how we choose and apply color in a design to bring our awareness to the present moment. If we catch ourselves thinking about the past or the future, we can bring ourselves back to what we are doing in the present moment by describing what we are doing. I have found this more and more useful recently and find it very helpful when I want to stay in the present and keep focused. So the fourth one and the last one we look at is meditation. Meditation is an ancient wellness practice that focuses on training awareness, attention, and compassion. The benefits of meditation include better focus and concentration, improved self-awareness and self-esteem, lower levels of stress and anxiety, and fostering kindness. Meditation also has benefits for your physical health, as it can improve your tolerance for pain. There are many free online resources to help you practice meditation. For me, I like a guided meditation with some nice relaxing music and a nice soft voice of somebody directing me what to do. This slide is a visual aid. This exercise helps us to engage all our senses. This can be very grounding. For example, I used this once when I was away at the seaside. And I use this now as a fond memory because I took the time to be very present in the moment and notice everything around me. So I'm just going to talk you through how I used this at the time, just to give you an example. So first, it tells you to take some belly breaths in. So some deep breathing in and out, like we just practiced. So for me, I noticed I could see the blue sky, the sand, the rocks, the sun, and people. I could feel the wind blow, the heat of the sun, the mist, and the grainy sand. I could hear the waves crashing, the chatter of people walking by, and many dogs barking. I could smell the seaweed and the coffee from a local stall. I could taste the sea salt on my lips. So that's just another way of really grounding yourself by engaging your senses. So here you will see that there's some stress relief activities, and it says engage one or more of your senses to relieve stress. And here are just more examples of what I've already talked about, like the likes of reading a good book or watching a film. It talks about sitting outside and enjoying the sounds, maybe like the sound of the birds or the sound of the rain. It also talks about having a chat with somebody who'll listen. Exercise, but the feeling aspect is you could stroke a pet, cats, dogs, and also it looks at the smelling aspect, burning some aromatherapy oils, or doing some baking. As Katie said, this information will be available for everybody to look at again. So far, we have explored well-being, self-care, and looked at some tips and techniques that may be useful. We are now going to talk about WRAP. As I mentioned at the start of the webinar, I facilitate the WRAP programme for SPHI with my colleague Jenny. We can't talk about the WRAP programme without mentioning Mary Ellen Copeland and the Copeland Foundation, who researched and designed this programme. Jenny and I have taken part in the WRAP programme, and then we went on to train to become facilitators. So here you'll see the heading is, what is WRAP? Well, WRAP stands for Wellness Recovery Action Plan. It is a prevention and wellness process that anyone can use to get well, stay well, and make their life more the way they want it to be through a series of tools and action plans. It was developed in '97 by a group of people who had been dealing with difficult feelings and behaviours for many years. People working on themselves to feel better and make positive changes in the way they react to life. People who use WRAP say it helps them feel better more often and improves their overall quality of life. WRAP is designed to increase the personal choices we make about how we live our lives, and it can help us to achieve our goals. WRAP is founded on 5 key concepts that many have described as the key to recovery. These concepts are hope, personal responsibility, education, self-advocacy, and support. In the WRAP programme, we take a closer look at each of these concepts and what they mean to each participant in the group. So, RAP is for anyone, anytime. It will support you in being the way you want to be and doing the things you want to do. RAP will help you to discover your own simple, safe wellness tools. It will help you to develop a list of things to do daily to stay as well as possible. It helps you to identify upsetting events in your life, early warning signs, signs that things have gotten much worse, and using wellness tools, the developed action plans for responding at these times. RAP will help you create a crisis plan. So when things are really breaking down, have got to the point of crisis, what plan you can put in place. It's about you taking control of your crisis. It also looks and explores a post-crisis plan. So after the crisis has passed. Wellness tools and RAP. Wellness tools are things you do to keep yourself well and things you do to help yourself feel better when you're not feeling well. In the RAP program, we explore what we would like to add into our wellness toolkit and look at common wellness tools. I mentioned this part of RAP as it is very important that we develop our own little kit of wellness tools, ones we use daily and ones we use when we are stressed. As I had mentioned before, for me, a very important tool is a to-do list. A to-do list helps me become less overwhelmed, and it can also help me to manage my daily and weekly tasks. So we spend time during the program really looking at our wellness tools and how we can keep ourselves well and stay well, but also what we can use when we're feeling just not as good as we should be feeling. So as we explored earlier, self-awareness is key. Becoming aware of your strengths and what you can do to deal with the stresses in your life. RAP helps you to explore this and develop a plan. We can choose to let the stresses of our lives control us, or we can choose to become more aware and take back control. So here you will see how you can sign up for RAP. If you like the sounds of the overview, or it's something that you'd like to explore, and you would like to make yourself a priority, I would encourage you to get in contact with Katie Dunphy, and you'll see her contact details there, but she will also be sending out an interest form. Here are just some resources, and they'll be part, as Katie said, that this is available, so you can use these resources in your own time. So our final slide. Thank you for listening. I hope I didn't go too fast and you were able to hear me. And I'm just going to finish with this. When your head hits the pillow tonight, remind yourself that you've done a good job. You're headed down your path at your own pace. And with every obstacle, you are trying your best. Be patient with yourself and remember, big things are achieved not all at once, but one day at a time. Thank you. I know Katie has opened the question and answers, so I think I am to stop sharing and maybe Katie will come in there.
Yes, I am. I'm here now. And gee, that was brilliant. It was very relaxing actually after all that. I feel really calm and rather zen-like. So thank you very much. And you know what? It's great that we recorded this because it's something that you can go back on, and there's lots of different parts of it, even like the hand breathing and everything. That was it was just a very calming technique and grounding technique, as you said as well. So I want to thank you very much for that. These are great skills. I know it's only a short session, but even what you covered in that short session will be really beneficial for anyone listening and anybody watching in the future. Yeah, when it's up on the website. So thank you very, very much. It was probably one of my favorite webinars so far, actually, and yeah, it was lovely. So
that's great to hear. That's giving me a good boost there, Katie. Thanks very much.
Well, and a little bit of feedback I'll give you there. It just came through in a text was that it just felt very one-to-one, and it was actually a lovely session because it felt like you were just talking to that individual person. So in that sense, the webinars can be quite good because for sessions like this, it feels nearly like you were just talking to me. So yeah, absolutely. So thank you very much for that. Is there any questions that anybody has? So nothing has come through so far on the question and answer section. I'm going to just stop the recording now in a second, just to remind everyone. Oh yeah, a question's just popped in there. And then one person has said that it's a great overview for anyone interested in participating in the current programme. So thank you very much. And I'm delighted, yeah, that feedback has come true. So yeah.
Yeah, we can stay. I can stay on for a few minutes to see if anything else is coming through. And I suppose if people can still hear me, they can, Katie, yeah?
They can, yes.
Yeah. So I suppose I would encourage it. There's some of the questions that I'd ask just about what refuels you. What is it that you use every day to help you stay well? So, and I had said to Katie beforehand that sometimes, and we do within the WRAP program, we ask these questions because if you put in a suggestion, and that's why I gave examples throughout my presentation, because if you put in a suggestion or an example, then somebody else might go, oh, that's very useful for me. I might use that the next time. Mm-hmm. So, or it might be something that someone else hadn't thought of, and now we're going to use it. And I think as well, what we talked about, what I said in the presentation, is not every wellness tool or not every stress reduction relaxation technique is for everyone. But the best way to find out what is for you is to practice. Explore loads of different ones and you'll find one that really suits you.
Absolutely. And I do think that comment there from the other person as well, a lot of people kind of wonder what's WRAP, and when they hear WRAP, what does that even mean? You know, it can be kind of not, no disrespect, but you know, when the name is on something, when you don't know what it covers, it can be daunting to take part in anything like that.
Yeah.
So having that breakdown and understanding more about what the session is about would be hopefully encourage more people to take part in the next session as running. So yeah, that's great. And
absolutely. And people, when they partake in the WRAP program, they leave with a whole resource file of information that they have developed themselves. And like that, like a wellness toolkit, everybody does it in different ways. It can be pictures that you have, or it can be a box that you make and you might put in, like for me, I have a notebook that I use, and there's pictures and there's words in it that just remind me, because when we're very stressed, we don't know what helps us. So at least if we have it in a form of words or pictures, then we can just flick in through it and go, okay, I'm going to try that. That's going to help me, because it has helped me in the past. So it is.
Another comment came in there as well, like that the WRAP, it can be slightly daunting at first, so it's a good background intro to it. Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you. Right, well, we're going to finish up there, and just a reminder that next week's session is again same bat time, same bat channel. So it's the 17th of November, and that's Tuesday at 11 a.m. and it's with Coloplast, and it's on stomach care. So completely different to this session, but very much again, Amy, it was absolutely brilliant. As I said, one of my favorite webinars to date. So thank you very much, and look forward to working with you again.
Brilliant. Thanks a million for having
me as well. So thanks everybody for attending.
Thanks for having me, Katie.
Absolutely. I roped you into it. So thank you.
You roped me in. Yeah, I didn't want to say that part, but you did.
Brilliant. Okay. So thank you very much, everybody. And hopefully see you again next week.
All the best.